guys, it's Miss Simpson and it's time for reading today. Okay, so do y'all remember how I'm going to start after spring break a STAR boot camp? Well, I'm also going to start going over and reviewing things with you. So for example, a lot of times y'all do reading passages and then I might go over it a little bit in the video, but we don't really talk about it much after that. You just do it and we're done. Well, that's not a very good or a very valuable use of our time because, yes, I can see what you know. And that's what I've been using it for up until this point, to see what do I need to review in small groups? What do we need to go over? What do I need to reteach you? That's what I use those reading passages for. But right now, you guys have been taught everything. I've taught you everything that you're supposed to learn in fourth grade in both math and in reading. We just finished. So now it's time to review, and we're going to start working on some STAR strategies. So what that means for you is we are going to start correcting and redoing our reading passages. So how is that going to work, Miss Simpson? So this was the reading passage that you did yesterday. I am going to, on Thursdays, go over it with you in the video. And it's not going to take me very long. I'm going to go over it. I'm going to go over the answer choices. I'm going to tell you about it, talk a little bit about it. And then what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to go to yesterday's work. Yesterday's reading passage. It was the very first assignment. It said lyrical narrative quatrain, and you're going to open up and see what your grade was. Some of you might have got 100. Some of you might have missed 1 or 2 or 3. But you are going to have to go through, and every single person is going to correct it. Every single answer. Now, not only are you going to have to correct it, but you're going to have to explain to me why you missed every single answer choice. So if you missed 7, you've got 7 to do. If you missed 3, you've got 3 to do. But the hardest thing is going back to yesterday's work. So I'm not going to post anything for you to do down below. You're just instructions. You're going to go to yesterday's, pull up your reading passage. I'm going to have it graded. It's going to be graded. And I'm going to tell you the correct answers. So you're going to have the correct answer. You're not going to have to guess anymore. You're going to put the correct answer on there. And then the crucial piece is you have to tell me why. Why did you get that wrong? So you're going to have to look at the correct answer versus your answer and explain to me, ooh, Miss Simpson, I noticed I got this one wrong because I thought that word meant something different than it did. I now know that when I go back and look in the passage, it means this. So you cannot correct it on your passage from yesterday. So let's say, let me go to mine. I had number 3 and I got number 3 wrong. I cannot just correct it and write the right answer on there and resubmit Thursdays. You have to get out a piece of paper, number it with the ones that you got wrong. So let's say I got number 3 wrong and number 4 and number 8. So on number 3, let's say the correct answer is D. So then I would write the correct answer and say why I got the answer incorrect. I thought blank. I thought blank, but now I know blank. I thought it was B, but now I know it's D. No, I thought that connection meant when two things are hooked together, but now I know connection in that sentence means. So you have to explain to me why you got it wrong. So what you're going to turn in to me today is your piece of paper with the correct answers and the explanation next to it. Okay, so I'm going to go through, I'm going to tell you the correct answers. We're going to go over it. And then you're going to go back to yesterday's and look at your reading passage. See which ones you got wrong. And then mark on here, okay, I got number 3, number 4, number 8. Go back through and write the correct answers. And then give me an explanation on a piece of paper why you got it wrong. Then come back to today's assignment, take a picture of this, and turn it in. Yeah, I know it's a lot, but we are getting to crunch time, guys. We've got about after spring break, we have 2 weeks until the writing test, and then after that, we have 4-ish weeks until the math and the star. So we need to get you guys ready. And this is how we do it. You've got to learn to explain it to me. All right, so let's go over the answer choices. So, number 1, the correct answer was C. The correct answer was C, definition 3, a similarity or likeness. So if you were to look back in the passage, this is a context clues question. So you had to look at the answer in context of the sentence. Callie wrote the poem on a poster and added an illustration to show the connection between the camping story and the poem. So if I was to take out connection and put in similarity or likeness, so she added an illustration to show the similarity between the camping story and the poem, or the likeness between the camping story and the poem. That one is the one that makes sense. So a solid hit between them? No. A communication between them? A fastener between them? That none of those make sense besides C. The reader can tell this story is written in third person point of view because. So when I read this one, it confused me just a little bit. So I went through and I was like, okay, Callie as a narrator. So if Callie was the narrator, I would see lots of I's. I would see me's. I would see our, I would see words because this is a story about Callie. So if Callie was the narrator, it would be first person. If Mr. Cannon was the narrator, it would not have said Mr. Cannon. She knew Mr. Cannon would be impressed with the matching poem she and her mother found. It wouldn't have said his name like that. So I knew it wasn't Mr. Cannon. And then Callie's mother and her are talking back and forth. So when it says mom replied, if her mom was the narrator, it would have said something like I replied. It wouldn't say mom replied. That was just a weird. Mom is a part of this story. So since our mom is a part of the story, if mom would have told it, it would have also been first person because you would have seen words like I, me, my. So I chose F. The narrator is not a character in the story. And one of our characteristics of third person point of view is that the narrator is just not a character in the story. They're on the outside telling the story. So all 3 of these people were characters in the story, so it couldn't have been them. Okay, this one. The simile in the sentence appeals to the reader's sense of. Her face was as red as a beet. So is that something I can smell? Is that something I can touch? Yes, but does that matter? If it said it was as hot as a burger coming out of the oven, maybe, but no. Is that something you could hear? No, that's something you can see. Her face turning bright red, you could see that one. So which sentence from the story tells the reader that Callie and her mother enjoy spending time together? So I was looking. Mom, you won't believe what happened in school today, Callie said as she tossed her backpack into her mother's car. That doesn't tell me anything about them spending time together. I like it when we work together on your homework, Mom assured Callie. So that is them working together, and her mom likes it. She enjoys it. I'll take my backpack to my room and meet you at the computer. That doesn't tell me that they like something. They don't like spending time together. It doesn't say anything like that. Well, let's go home, eat a snack, and then take a look on the internet. That doesn't tell me that they like to spend time together. What happened in Callie's family story just before Dad fell into the water? Nobody should have missed number 5. Nobody. If you missed number 5, it's because you did not go back into the story and look at it. There are some questions that you have to go back and you have to reread that part of the story. So what I did is I knew Dad fell into the water right about here. So I knew I'm going to read a little bit before that and just see what happened. So Dad and Colin were trying to get in the boat. Motor started. Dad tugged so hard the boat The rope broke. Dad lost his balance and tumbled over the side of the boat. So before he fell, it looks like they were trying to get the boat motor started. So is that the answer choice? Exactly, word for word. This was in the story. Nobody should have missed that one. Okay, what is the best reason Callie chose the poem Daddy Fell into the Pond to match her family story? So did both of them describe a family adventure? In the poem, were they going on an adventure? Let's go back and look at it. Everyone grumbled. The sky was gray. We had nothing to do and nothing to say. So wait, we had nothing to do. Are they going on an adventure? No, they're not going on an adventure. Did they go on a vacation? No, they didn't go on a vacation. Both were chosen by Callie's mother. Okay, what? Is that okay, Callie's mom, I get she helped her with the poem. She helped her pick out the poem. But she didn't help her pick out that first story. That doesn't even make sense. But both of them did tell a story about a father who fell into the water. All right, number 7. What is one similarity between the poem and the camping story? So the boys in the poem and in the story are entertained by their fathers. I chose that one because both boys, after their father fell into the water, the boys were laughing. They were entertained. It was funny. This said nothing about the moms fishing. Neither of them talked about mom's fishing. The speaker of the poem and the narrator in the story are daughters. Well, we already talked about in this one that the narrator is not a character in the story. So that one couldn't have been it. And the fathers in the poem and in the story are angry about falling into the water. Well, that seems like a silly one because think about it. Were they angry? It never even talked about the dads being angry, so it couldn't have been that one. All right, number 8. The reader can tell the poem is written in narrative form because remember we talked about narrative poetry, what was it, yesterday? That same day that I gave you this? Narrative poetry tells a story. It has a plot and it has characters. So, does it matter if it has a rhyming pattern or not? No, with narrative, we don't care if it rhymes or not. Has a short line length. Well, if I look at the poem, the lines are pretty long. Some of these lines have like 9 words in them, so they're pretty long. Tells a series of events. That reminds me of plot. That also reminds me when I have to do the plot chart. I said that a narrative poem doesn't necessarily follow a plot chart, but it does have a plot, a problem, characters, a setting, or tells about a serious subject. Is this a serious subject? They were laughing at their dad because they fell into the pond. No. Why does the poet write the word then and when on lines with no other words? So is he trying to help us know which words rhyme? Well, that would not make any sense because look at this. Gray, say, day, bright and light. A lot of words in this poem rhyme. So them saying that helps me know about rhyming doesn't make any sense. To help the reader know to pause because the next line is important. So when you're reading a poem, you're supposed to kind of pause at the end of the line. So, and then there seemed to be nothing beyond. Then Dad fell into the pond. So at the end of every line of a poem, you're supposed to take a little pause. Or at least that's how I've been taught how to read poetry. Take a pause, take a pause. So at the end of then, you should have paused. It's kind of like in a fiction book, a cliffhanger. If you've ever heard of a cliffhanger, that's what these are. So that is kind of what it was trying to do with us. So to help them know the order of events, I mean, maybe, but I like answer B better. And to help the reader understand what the poem is about, then and when don't give me that kind of information. So that is definitely B. All the following structures in the poem are found. No, all the following structures are found in the poem, Daddy Fell into the Pond, except. So this one was probably pretty difficult to you. We see that there are stanzas. There's a stanza here, a stanza here, and the stanza here. And we can see that because we can clearly draw lines right there. So it couldn't have been stanza. There is repetition. Daddy fell into the pond was mentioned twice. And then here's where I got stuck when I was doing this. Meter is kind of like a rhythm to the poem. It has to do with different inflections of syllables, which is a big pain to remember. But lines of similar length. So what I decided to do is I was struggling between those two. So I decided to go count how many words are in a line. So in this one, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do all of those have similar line lengths? The only one that have similar line lengths are those two. So do they all have similar line lengths? No, they don't. And this says all of them except. So even if I didn't know what meter was, I would be able to narrow my answer down to either meter or lines of similar length. And when I looked at them and I counted how many words were in there, I was like, well, that has to be the answer because only two of them match. Alfred Noyes probably wrote this poem. So look at this. This is an author's purpose question. Author's purpose. So is he trying to persuade you to do anything? No. Is he giving you information about a camera on vacation? I hope nobody picked that. Is he telling you the difference between a pond and a lake? No. It's a funny story. The dad fell in the pond. It's funny. Last but certainly not least, this one. Which word in the poem describes the feelings Callie's family had before Dad fell into the pond? So if I'm looking in the poem, everyone grumbled the sky was gray. We had nothing to do and nothing to say. We were nearing the end of a dismal day, and then there seemed to be nothing beyond. Then Dad fell into the pond. So they seem sad, dreary, bored. So delight. If you don't know what some of these words mean, you could have looked it up in the dictionary. So this is a pure dictionary question. So there should be no reason that anybody missed number 12. If you missed number 12, it shows me that you didn't look it up in the dictionary. And the dictionary is as easy as typing it into Google. And on your STAR test, there's a dictionary button on your laptop or on your iPad that you're going to click and type in the word. So there should be no reason to miss any dictionary questions like this. So delight is kind of like happy. Were they happy? No. Dismal means kind of sad, bored, which is how they felt. That's why I chose it. Drake and duckweed. Those things are different types of things about the pond, different things in the pond. It's not a way of people feel. So these two are not how people feel. So you were left between happy and sad. Were they happy? No. They were dismal, sad, bored, blah. All right, so now that I have gone over the whole entire reading passage with you, no matter how bored you were during this video, I'm very sorry, you need to go back through and you are going to answer all of the questions you got wrong. So everybody should get out a piece of paper, and while you're looking at your reading passage, I want you to put the answers you got wrong. Then you're going to write the correct answer and explain to me why you got it wrong. If you don't know, go back and listen to me explain that one question again and see if you can glean some information off of it. All right, guys, I love y'all so much. You're going to turn in a picture of this. When you're done, you need to go back to yesterday's reading passage, look at it, correct it, tell me why you missed every single one of them, and turn it in to today's assignment. So there is no PDF to turn in today. There's only a picture of your corrected paper and your reasons why you got them wrong. All right, guys, I love you all so much. Have a great day.